Hi everybody and welcome back to Epic Specials. So I've now finished the arches on the passenger side of the vehicle, so those are all done. And next week I'm going on holiday, so I won't be working on the car for a little bit, so there won't be a new video. So I thought, instead of leaving you with absolutely nothing, I'll give you a walk around the car. We'll talk about a few of the things I've done already. I'll talk about some of the things I want to do and give you a bit more information about it. So let's go. Okay, so this is passenger side arches all completed. Exactly the same process as doing the other side. What I have done, and I've done this on all of them, I've seam welded all the way around this edge so I can grind that off and make it nice and smooth and there won't be any little gaps left. And also I've had an added bonus of when I was welding it and then cooling it back down, it pulled all the arches in dead tight. So a little bit of steel. Lovely. And all four are the same. And if there's any rubbing, it's just a case of grinding out a little bit on the inside, but the overall fitment on the outside will stay the same. Let's go around and show you the back one. This one's much the same. I think this one's actually a bit tighter. Try not to stab the tyre. Yeah, I can't get it in that one. Proper job. So inside the door is done as well. I haven't ground it back just yet, but so as I've said before, these bits that I've left here, they will be made out of fiberglass and joined on to the bumpers. So there'll be a join line where the bumper meets. They're the same all the way around. So I'm really happy with the fitment and how it's all come out. My only hope is that when I take the car back down and put it outside, that it is sat on the level up here, because I've made each arch at exactly the same height on all the tyres. Might be too dark to see, but there's this line here, so that's what I've used as a sort of a gauge to make all the arches. So hopefully when we're back outside and back on the floor, they're all still level and still the same. Otherwise I'll be a bit upset. I've got wonky fitment. Can't have that. So my next job is going to be doing something with these side skirts. I've decided to keep what's already there instead of cutting them off and starting again, because I did a pretty good job of those the first time round, but I just want to finish them off slightly different. It's probably a bit easier to show what I want to do at the back. So before the arches sort of came down to here and covered all this area up. That's why this bit's painted under seal and that bit's painted. But the idea this time, have a look at Ron, is I'm just going to finish the wheel arch off a bit like that. I'm just going to have a little chamfer in this way, and I'll do the same that end, so it'll just be squared off. So instead of filling in all this area, it more or less start from about here, a bit lower maybe, where this edge of the body curves, and join it down, and then just some filler work to get them straight. Just, you can't tell because I always put the stickers on the sill, but they are ripply as hell. You see all those lovely dents? And that's from seam welding it up the first time and not cooling it down as I went along, so I basically warped the whole thing. And that's why I did want to replace them, but they're all fully boxed in, they're not just, I don't know if you can see, they're not just side skirt extensions, they're all made of steel. And they're a complete thing. So I think it'd be more work to chop them off and start again than it would be just to use a bit of fiberglass and filler to get them straight. And when the side skirts are done, I'm going to be moving on to the rear lights, because I'm going to be changing these. So I'm going to be getting rid of the old R32 Skyline lights. I think they've had their day. Enough people have confused it with the Skyline. I don't know how, but people always do. And what I'm going to do is actually go back to a standard rear light. So this is a standard pre-facelift sunny light. It's just dead flat, but it follows the original curvature of the vehicle, which is what I'm trying to regain. So a lot of chopping out of the old light to do, because this is fully fiberglassed in. There's some extra steel around the corner here that wraps around to hold it in. There's a bit at the bottom, and then all of this bit is like solid fiberglass. So that's going to be fun and messy to cut out. But the original metalwork for the original lights is still under there somewhere. So I'll dig that all out, fit these. Obviously I've changed the boot lid, so I haven't got the smoothed off panel anymore. But what I'll be doing is, instead of making it out of steel like I did last time, I'll be cutting this thing up, cutting the front off it and smoothing that off, and using this to create the blank, because hopefully that way it will retain more of the original shape. As when I did it before, again, it got warped when I was welding it. It didn't, it's like it curves two ways. You've got across the vehicle and down the vehicle, and I'm not clever enough with steel to recreate that, so it's easier to just use what's already been manufactured in the correct shape and just smooth it out. But all these lines will be blended in and smooth, so it won't look like a bolt-in part. It'll be completely blank. And the same with the lights, when the lights are in. So I've got a trick for the lights. So I'm basically using these just as a sort of a unit to hold all the bulbs, but I will be doing something fancy with the lenses. I don't want to give it away just yet. You can wait and see until it all happens. But when they're fitted in, they will be blended all around the edges again, so they will look seamless like the current lights. So it won't be a completely different look, but it will be different to what's there now. Then we've got plenty of bodywork to be finishing off on the ducktail and the long nose. So lots and lots still to do. As you may have seen before, had an accident and lost my rear window. So this is annoying. Most of it's now down there in the back seat. So my plans for the rear window, a lot of people have said put louvers in there, do this, do that. It's like, no. Do you know how long it would take to fabricate some louvers? And you still need to have something underneath there to stop all the weather coming in. And had a quote for a new rear screen. It's basically about 700 quid fitted. I'm not spending 700 quid on a rear glass. So what I've decided to do, as I've got another N13 Sunny Saloon, is I'm going to use my other car as a mould and create a fiberglass panel to completely blank off the rear screen. So by the time it's all said and done, it will just be blanked, completely smooth and painted bodywork colour. So effectively looking like a van from the rear, but I will be doing something fancy on the back of there. But again, I don't want to give that away, because it's going to be a bit of a surprise, and hopefully if it comes out how I want it to, it will look pretty sick as well. So back around the front, this old chin splitter will be going in the bin. It's definitely had its day. It's very abused, cracked, split, warped. I don't know if you can see how curvy it is. But that was originally made out of some wood and some UPVC foam board, and sitting out in the weather it's all expanded and split. So that's got to go, and I'll be making something different. What we'll be replacing it will sort of follow the same lines as the side skirts. So bit like a hovercraft kit, but not like a hovercraft kit. If you've seen one of my previous videos of the evolution of the Assassin, you would have seen when it was black and gold, the front lip and the rear lip match the side skirts. It's going to be going back to similar to that, but not quite exactly the same. And I will be making a rear lip this time because I didn't have one previously, and I didn't like how high the rear end looks. Whether I'll be making a new slit spoiler or not, I don't know. It depends how the rear splitter sort of comes out and looks. And then, once I've finished fabricating everything, we can start on all the bodywork. So I've got lots and lots to do. All these little bits, I've decided I will seam weld, but I have to do that very slowly, using an airline at the same time to cool everything down, because the last thing I want to do is warp all this, because I did a pretty decent job of not warping everything, so it won't require buckets and buckets of filler to get it straight, just enough hopefully to blend it into the original bodywork. Same with the long nose bonnet, you know, it's all pretty straight. It was always wobbly before. You probably never noticed because I used to angle photos so you couldn't tell, but there used to be a massive dent around here which I could always see and always annoyed me. So same this side, so bits where it overlaps doesn't need to be seam welded, not a problem, but these bits where you can basically see daylight through, I'll seam weld them up. It just makes a nicer job of it. It don't have to do it. You could just slap the fiberglass on, but I just don't like that you can see daylight through everything. So just to make me happy, I'll do a better job of it. And then I am undecided on this. I thought I'd brought it with me, but I haven't. But I got a standard headlight, so it's like, do I replace one of the headlights with a standard one or not? If I had it here, I could have shown you, but I haven't. So I have to save that for another time. Right, so that was a little insight of some of the work still to come and some of the completed work. Still plenty of jobs to do, plenty of body work to do, which won't be much fun, but we will get there. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers.